Good afternoon. Welcome to Zen with a Smile. After 72, 73 videos and recently talking about the feeling of deja vu, the word came to me that has been escaping me since the very beginning. I use words like inspiration. I was inspired. I received. And all the while, it was nagging at me. What was missing? And now that it came to me in an instant of lucidness, the fact that it was obscured for so long that it wasn't available for me is a source of wonderment, opportunity to explore. And once I say the word, you'll join with me in the puzzlement of why, until just this last few moments, that this word just didn't seem available. The word is revelation. And I was using this in the truest sense for me, what was revealed, what didn't come from my own faculties, what it didn't come from my practice of jhani yoga, the search for the transition of ideas, thoughts, ideas, to information, to knowledge, and ultimately into wisdom. This practice has been with me as long as I can remember, but I was waylaid. Raja Yoga, the sense that stilling, quieting, silencing the mind was the ultimate goal. And really being desirous, and that's a key word here, I desired the clarity that lies within the promise of stillness. And as we know, I've resigned myself to attempts at taming the mind, relegating it to the realms of, for entertainment purposes only. As far as the thinking process as we know it, the surrender of aspirations, of goals, of directions, to the mind to sort out. When indeed, it certainly isn't a tool that can be trusted in these endeavors. And especially when the hollowness rings true of goals. Even entertaining for a moment that mind could point you in a direction of progress, improvement, betterment. Yeah, that's all the mirage, that's all the illusion. And again, we must not forget the usefulness in storing and sorting and making available, providing access to knowledge that's transformed through grace into wisdom. It's like the Dewey Decimal System. Yeah, it's a way to store and sort and find information from the source of all, and which is available to each and every one of us. But what about revelation? What about in my pursuit, I don't like that word because it implies some type of effort that was rewarded with a goal. And it's actually when I gave up the efforts of discipline, self-control, rigorous sitting for hours, resulting in sweat, because Rinzai tradition celebrates that meditation is warfare. Meditation is a battle. Meditation is hard work. And I even remember being told that gaga woo-woo, new age sense of wellness and wholeness is not true meditation. Well, when I was able to get rid of that nonsense, and it really took, my body had to wear down. I had to get older before I would give up that nonsense. And physically, I just wasn't able to maintain the bliss discipline that I had inflicted upon myself from ignorance, I can only assume, for so many years. And only then my shoulders loosened. I was able to put down that bag of shit that we carry on our back. I lightened up. I smiled and I even laughed occasionally, Yeah. Mostly I laughed at the sheer idiocy, idiotic idiocy behavior that I was. I guess proud of. I'm still stuck with idiocy. Idiotic. Anyway, listen. That's when the mind comes in handy and is useful. But what we're talking about today is why revelation? Why this word that of all that was revealed to me? Why couldn't I come up with this word to express? I used inspired a lot, and inspired falls short. It's not like revelation at all, is it? And where I'm using this, where I really experience this word or concept that escaped me all these months of my YouTube venture, was going from progressive to permanent awakening. Now, after 30 years of my rigorous Raja Yoga at attempting to quiet and still the mind, seeking clarity. And simultaneously, intuitively, following the path that was so much more suited to me. Jhana Yoga, contemplation. And it's only been probably at the milestone of 60 that I was able to let go. After my heart attack at 59, certainly I realized that I needed to let go of the restraints, as it was, the demands on my physical body through my practice, through my diligent, stressful practice, and let the true path that was simultaneously with me. But for some reason I never legitimized. I had to exhaust myself with my failures to silence the mind and put aside my desire for clarity. And in this place came a much bigger gift than clarity is at least in my travels, and that was equanimity. And this peace of mind, this equanimity in all circumstances, served me most well at 65 when I went in to have my one bypass and the aortic valve replacement with a bovine valve, an organic valve, so that I wouldn't have the clicking of a mechanical valve. I understand that even when you're sitting quietly, especially when you're sitting quietly, that clicking is omnipresent. And also the fact that I'd have to take Coumadin or some blood thinner for the rest of my life to keep that mechanical valve from getting clogged up. So those two things led me to go the more expensive route. But the equanimity, I remember going into the operating room 8 o'clock on June the 1st, 6 years ago. And I remember just being okay, no fear, at peace with myself and the world. And this was the biggest gift of the equanimity that started to blossom after my heart attack at 59 and progressively became more a lasting state of mind up until and well after my surgery. And I laughed. Now, if I would have gotten that elusive clarity that I sought, I struggled for 30 years, would it have been what I needed when I was facing my surgery cutting the sternum, popping open your chest, stopping the heart and the lungs for, mine was stopped for 8 hours, surviving on the machine with catheters going everywhere, places with anyway, trust me, catheters going everywhere, including a hole in my chest that later had to be, anyway, let's not revisit. It's not fun, but the gift I received from this, the gift that my teacher gave me before my surgery, the year before my surgery, I had a minor heart attack at 4 a.m. And I know, trust me, I've had one, and I had a smaller one, and and it's quite often that these attacks will visit at 4 a.m. I don't know why that's the witching hour, the true witching hour, at least for me. And I rolled over and went back to sleep, knowing full well that what was happening to me. And went back to sleep, not only just went to sleep, but I made a conscious decision that I was at peace with life, that if this was my time to go, I was more than willing to go. I felt no regrets. I felt that I'd been there, done that. And if that was my day to check out, so be it. I'd rather do it in my bed, comfortable, than rushing to the ambulance to go to the hospital, only to pass away there. And trust me, the hospital's not a good place to go. We unavoidably, in today's world, we come into the world at the hospital, and most of us will leave the world from the hospital. But I want to be home. If it happened in my sleep, so much the better. But I went to my teacher at the time, and I talked to him about this peace that I had with death, that there was no fear whatsoever. This still is a part of me. No fear about death. And he told me, absolutely, I told him that I didn't want the surgery. I decided not to have the surgery, even though I knew that my time was very limited without it. And my teacher, in his wisdom, insisted that I get the surgery. And even during the course of this, with unbelievable accuracy, he told me that within a year, after my surgery, within a year, that my permanent awakening would take place. Well, it turned out to be 11 months, almost to the day. But for him, I bless him every day for insisting that I go, despite my coming to terms with death, insisted that I had work to do, insisted that opportunities to have permanent or abiding awakenings are rare and precious. So this brings me to revelation. What exactly was revealed to me? Well, when I talked about reconciling, when I talked about the cosmic joke of accepting that each side, each opposite side of non-duality was equally so. This is the cosmic joke, and that was what was revealed to me. The idea that free will and preordained or destiny are equally so. And to see this could occur through a revelation was revealed to me, because we just don't have the faculties, at least I didn't, to entertain this truth. And the cosmic joke led to my spending probably, it seemed like a day. I laughed so hard that my face hurt. And I mentioned before, in the throes of this deep laughter came equally sincere tears and crying and infinite sadness to accompany my infinite happiness. Because how else could it be if I was truly able to understand that opposites are equally so? It stands to reason that I'd have to experience laughter and happiness as well as tears and sadness as part of this revelation. And again, chronologically, I lost all sense of time. The chronological sense of time. Stuart Wilde, I talked about yesterday. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. We live in a tick tock world. But it's artificial construct, as we know. And we've become slaves to it. So truly spend some time outside the confines of this artificial construct of time moving in a linear fashion. Time is as Stephen Hawking and quantum physicists say, space-time. So time and space exist together. Time can slow down, appear to slow down. Time can appear to speed up. So, revelation. This was revealed to me. Not that dualities were not so. Yes, they were not so. But as we've discussed before, they serve a purpose in our journey to reunite with the oneness. And today's and so it is was also a revelation. But the other aspects of this experience were also revelations, were revealed to me. My meandering down the gentle river floating on a inner tube, drinking my favorite green tea, iced green tea beverage, by the way. Peacefully meandering down the stream or mild river and catching glimpses on all sides of me in past lives. And recognizing that 99.9% of my incarnations, if not all of them, I leave a little wiggle room for doubt. Not doubt that it's so, but doubt that maybe one of my lives would have been more significant, at least in the scale of human measurement. Maybe I was somebody. I don't know, I just leave that. But basically I was mesmerized by ordinariness. A farmer tilling my crops. Hunter-gatherer. Just being a human being. Just being, and not too concerned with the doing side of the polarity. That word escaped me for a little bit too, polarity, when I was diametrically opposed. Polarity, North Pole, South Pole. But I get, mine is horizontal. West Pole, East Pole, instead of vertical. And I seem to be, now that it's come to me, a little inspiration, I seem to be horizontally inclined. Maybe the horizon, the ocean, the mountains, rather than like much of mankind was looking up for heaven and looking down to hell. And those polarities were never of much interest to me. In fact, if anything, hell seemed like it might be more interesting than heaven. If heaven was what I was led to believe at my early Christian influences that I couldn't help but filter through my child's mind. And I pictured heaven as angels, playing the lute, what is that, L-Y-R-E, lyre, I don't know. But some kind of harp, and just floating on the clouds and wearing golden robes and immersed in the golden light, which was the most interesting part of my vision of heaven. But down below, fire. And who isn't among us fascinated with fire to some degree? Primal, human feelings. And the noises, the grunts, the groans, the sighs, the crying out in pain, the suffering. And even in my youthful eyes, I really thought that life here on this plane was suffering. And I had a common misunderstanding of what suffering really was. Suffering isn't all those bad things that happen to us and all that. That's lessons in learning. Suffering was not being able to see, to experience that which you came from. That was my idea of the Buddha's suffering. That we were separated. We were blind to see what really was so. And this resulted in our sorrow. Because this is the one lesson, the one sense of sorrow that I couldn't take anything away from. Other sorrows were experiences, opportunities to learn what not to do, to start to build a system of what to do. I don't know if you heard the alarm in the background. It seemed like the timing was really interesting when I'm talking about suffering. And suffering is not without its uses. In fact, its uses are suffering as we accept it. Less than stellar conditions, death, illness, sickness of friends, challenges, physical challenges, are all opportunities. But the sorrow, that deep, piercing sorrow that I experienced, being separated from feeling separated from all that was so, didn't seem to contain much opportunity to learn, because the solution is so simple. The answers for all of us are within. So that was a revelation, that what Buddha meant by his suffering, that all life is suffering. And people would dismiss Buddhism as a negative. Wow, what's the point? And there's dangerous with looking for a point. The other place that is dangerous is once you know that dualities are illusions, that there's a source of the world that we've created for ourselves, and they need to be recognized for what they are. An opportunity on our path to oneness, to wholeness, to non-separation, to non-division. So, understanding polarities, having a glimpse at past lives, and really when I was searching for this word revelation, learning how, learning where, how to tap, how to find this endless source of information, how to utilize it, how to store it, most importantly, how to sort it so that it can be accessed. And then when you surrender that too, that all these things are not humanly doable. Certainly, we're limited. Our hard drives would get filled rapidly if we stored information as we've learned to do as we grow. It's a new, bigger, better library. And now that I know, I will know when I need to know. That makes me smile about revelation. The greatest gift of my life. I couldn't, for the life of me, come up with this term until last night, between sleep 1 and sleep 2. Revelation. All will be revealed when the timing's right. A combination of letting go of even an inkling, the smallest feeling, thought, word that you can have any control in any of this. Surrendering to the simplicity. Surrendering. Sincere. Surrendering. And the gifts of this when Buddha gave up his desire or search for enlightenment, it's this surrender. This surrender takes work. It's not simple because you need to shed the ego way early in the process. And for me, it was a series of, every time I thought I'd surrendered, I found out there was more opportunity, more need to surrender further. It's a work that has no end. It's a work, it joins all that spiraling towards affinity. And this is the secret, I believe, that when you can't help but accumulate karma, some of it, most of it is mitigated, most of it is forgiven, erased, burned by the consuming flames in the process of progressive to permanent, non-abiding to abiding, awakening. But, as I mentioned, just being in this body will bring karma. And here again, the practice of surrender is useful, practical, and very, very necessary. So, the daily living, I surrender my karma at some point in everyday life. I surrender it, I direct it, I send it to the violet consuming flame. So revelation. Why did it escape? Even though I'm so intimately involved and enjoy this cosmic gift, why until now, until today, such a big part of my experience was through revelation. Why wasn't it available, this word, available to me until today? See, there's always something to work on, because all of us are works in progress. All of us can enjoy unconditional love of both ourselves and everything in the universe. Thank you.